opinion, as well as okay, yes, just your opinion on things, on matters politics, what is happening in our country, in Africa, East Africa, and the world generally. Now, the Deputy President of Kenya, that is Rigathi Gachagua, has been criticized for his remarks on the shareholder issue. And recently, he actually related the shareholder remarks to the Bible, saying that he is unapologetic for his remarks. Now, before I ask my question, so he quoted Galatians 6 chapter 10, which says, "So then, as we have the opportunity, let us do good to everyone, and especially those who are of the household of faith. Therefore, whenever we have the opportunity, we should do good to everyone, especially to those in the family of faith." Now, why am I reading this? Because it's the Bible verse that he quoted, stating that it is the Bible's words, and he does not regret actually putting it out that way. Now, number one, of course, we know what he meant by shareholders. That is, those who voted for the current government are the ones to benefit, number one, or who are going to be given first priority or most benefits compared to those who did not vote. So my number one question to you is, what is your take, or what is your opinion in regards to Kenya being seen as a company with shareholders, and the distribution of development of projects now in Kenya in regards to Rigathi Gachagua's statement?
First of all, I want to start with the verse that you have read, and which came through Gachagua.
Yeah.
In fact, you are misinterpreting the Bible verses. If Gachagua thinks that Rift Valley and Central Province are the household, is that how, you know, there is a contradiction here. You know, what we are talking here is about Kambuni.
No.
If about Kambuni, as Gachagua refers to, now I sometimes fail to understand the meaning of company. If it is really a company, Kenya is a company which includes all stakeholders, not Rift Valley and the Central Province. And the first that he read, that doesn't exactly refer to what Gachagua is telling Kenyans. It refers to the household, and the household simply means Kenya, not Rift Valley and the Central Province. I think the Deputy President is running sort of ideas. I don't know what I can advise him, but he's the Deputy President for this Republic, for the Republic of Kenya, not the Deputy President for Central Province or Rift Valley and Central Province. You know, we don't understand, Kenyans don't understand what brings all of these problems. Is it because the president went to Ruorand? Where is Ruorand counted? Is it not part of Kenya?
It is.
Does it mean, like now as we are speaking, the Karenjins and the Kikuyus dominate large share in the government institutions, employees in the government institutions. Almost 40% out of 60 institutions is dominated by Kikuyus and the Karenjin community. And when we hear Gachagua talking about household, those people who voted for them, I don't understand. Does it mean there are no other MPs elected from other regions in voter ticket? Is it only from Rift Valley? Because when we talk even about Rift Valley, Rift Valley has 14 counts, including Naroko, which never voted for Ruto, 50%, including Kajiado, which never voted for Ruto, even 45%, including Samburu, Turkana, and many other counties. So when he's talking or telling Kenyans about Kambuni, or calling Kenya as a company, and referring to these two communities, I think is a problem. He has a problem. He has a problem, and I think Kenyans are watching him. If he is the type of president we'll have after Ruto, then we better look for another person. Yeah.
Wanasema he's busy making the way for the president come 2027. Okay, now, of course, his remarks have been criticized even by members of the Kenya Kwanza team, of course, in regards to him stating that those who voted for the government or the current government are the ones to benefit the most. And we saw even the likes of Moses Kuria stating that there has to be equal distribution of resources, whether or not you voted for the government while he was launching his projects, while he was still the CS of trade and industry. Yeah? That even though that particular region did not vote for the leader, then it does not mean that, number one, that area should get like less development. The development should be equal in all roundedly, you know. And I remember recently asking you a question in regards to the kind of statements that the president makes. Now, with this particular statement that he has made severally, saying that he's unapologetic about it, do you feel that, or do you think that would be an ignition to, number one, tribal war, as well as ethnic war in Kenya, for example? Or also, number two, would it lead to incitement of violence tribal-wise? We have seen, for example, what is happening in Sondu. Those are tribal clashes, and they're politically powered, as per the statement by some of the leaders. Do you feel like such statements from leaders are actually like ni kama kuongeza moto?
In fact, what we are supposed to do, what the government is supposed to do by now, is the accelerated affirmative action by rapidly redistributing resources even into the small tribes, by building roads, communication, schools, so that, because you know, what Gachagua is telling Kenyans, you know, anaamini si ametoka katika kabila kubwa, and also is talking of Rift Valley, which is also a large community. So what about the small communities that are marginalized? Even in employment vacancies is a problem. So what we are saying, I don't see any reason actually which can bar the president from going to Ruoland or Ruo Nyanza, because he's the president of the Ruos, Kikuyus, and whoever who is in this republic. This is a republic of Kenya under one president, William Samuel Ruto. And we have said it more than 2 times in this show, the same show. It's as if Gachagua is not deputy president for Kenya. He's the deputy president for Central Province. Because whatever he talks, whatever comes out of his mouth, he refers to Central Province. He doesn't have other parts of the country in mind. Because you see what he said, niko hapa, nataka kuhakikisha, wacha president yaendelee kuongea hapo, lakini yale maneno yanahusu hapa na Rift Valley. What about other parts of the country? Rift Valley has 14 counts, and the Central 5 counts. In total, that's 19 counts. Gachagua nataka kuambia Wakenya kwamba those are the only counts which elected the president. Is that possible? It isn't. So what we are saying, let us work together. Let us have leaders who will unite this country, but not with bad intentions of dividing the country. into tribal classes, ethnic classes. Yeah.
And my final question to you, of course, to our viewers, we know that we have more than 42 tribes in Kenya, you know, but anytime elections is mentioned in Kenya, anytime leadership is mentioned in Kenya, I think there are only three to four major tribes that are mentioned. Of course, top of the list we have Kikuyus, we have Kalenjins, and we have Luyas. And let me not forget our brothers, the Kisis, you
Ruos.
know.
Well,
And
you taken the Ruos, yeah.
Luos, yeah. And Luos. Those are some of the five tribes that are normally associated with Kenya. But you see, we have other tribes, you know. And we've seen even in positions of power, in leadership as well, the most dominant tribes are, or the most dominant people who are occupying these slots are from these particular tribes, you know. We've even had statements, I'm sure even you of you have made a statement once that Kenya haiwezi ongozwa na mtu ambaye si Mkikuyu ama Mkalenjin, only because we saw the history of, for example, like the presidential history in Kenya. President is either from the Rift Valley region or from the central region. Now, does that show a question mark, or does that put a question mark on the tribal agenda in Kenya? Because it's something that is being, ukabila ni kitu kubwa sana Kenya, you know. But is it like it's starting from our leadership? And how do we ensure that we have, the same way we are fighting for gender equality out here, we can also get like tribal equality? Because if you go, for example, to an institution, a public institution, and you find that 40% of our watu wenye wako ndani ni Wakikuyu, what does that mean about that tribe ya wale Wachoni, you know? When are we going to get that person from Samburu get to this position? Of course, you know, we have like many question marks in between, but how do we maintain sanity? Like, do small communities, do small tribes have a say or have a place in the Kenyan government as well as the Kenyan system?
Because of this ethnic generalization, it has brought a criminal of the highest order in this country. Because small tribes are suffering. You see now Kikuyus and the Kalenjins dominate 40% of the institutions out of 14. 6% of the institutions out of 14. And again, especially in NSSF, TSC, Kikuyus, Kalenjins. Communication Authority, Kikuyus, and the Kenya National Highways Authority. Those are Kikuyus are 31%. And other powerful sectors in this country, institutions in this country, they occupy a large number of employees. It's good for the question you have asked. Again, when coming to Kisis, they also occupy in the marine and the fisheries department. And the Ruos occupy in the blue economy. Yeah. So what we are saying here is, and those are areas dominated by large tribes. What about these marginalized tribes down here? What has the government done to also yani waone kwamba wamefanya at least kazi kwa hizi kabila zingine? Do you know, this is why Gachagua is convinced that Rift Valley is still convinced that Rift Valley and the Central Province still. Sasa Gachagua kama mjamuona afikirii Ruto, anajifikiria kwamba yeye pia atapita mahali Ruto alifanya nini? Apite. Gachagua afikirii kwamba hata kuna Mudavadi. Afikirii kwamba, you know, I told you last time in this same show that Uta will be divided into three. One will go with the central, another one will remain with the president, and another one with Mudavadi. Possibly, one of the three groups will join opposition, and the opposition will become a very powerful formation. It will be divided into three formations, and automatically one of the groups will join opposition and form a powerful opposition. So what we are saying is this: let all tribes be served equally. This is our national cake. It is not for Gachagua. It is not for individuals. It is not meant for particular tribe. It is for all Kenyans. Let us divide this cake equally and say it equally, as children of the same house, not the house of Rift Valley and the Central Province, as Gachagua is referring to. Yeah.
Okay. And now, aside from that, could there be, or should there be, like a system in place, or what can be done to ensure that even in the institutions out here, number one, we have certain like representation in tribes, not only like for the public institutions only, but generally? Should there like be a criteria?
You know, this is why so many people are stating for POMA's National Dialogue Committee, which is in POMA's. And this is why many people are supporting the National Dialogue, including Mudavadi, including Kuria. I told you last time, when if you compare Gachagua and Kuria, Kuria is a brilliant person. Kuria, Gachagua, Kuria aroboka, yani tunapelekanga Kuria kwamba anaroboka lakini arobokangi. Anakaa kama anaroboka lakini anaongea maneno matamu yale ambayo yanafaa. So what we are saying, we need to change our electoral laws. Tuone mahali itafaa ili paka hizi tribes zingine siku chini sifaitike. Sure that they can elect a president. You know, that's what is bringing acrimony in this country. Because, you know, Gachagua, I believe, comes from one of the largest tribes. And also somebody from Rift Valley is thinking the same. That's why we are asking, what about other people down here, these small tribes? What if they gang together and join together against these bigger tribes? Si wao pia wataenda nje? So before that, what we are saying, tupatilishe sheria zetu. Tuwe na kipengele ya kufungua server every election, because we know the secret behind the servers is what makes politicians to think of stealing elections. So if it happens that the servers must be always after election, every election, utaona hii mambo. Basi tena paka wakisi wataongoza ama Wagiriama wataongoza. Yeah.
And thank you so much. Now, most definitely to our viewers, a question I'm posing to you is, what can we do as a country? Or, yes, number one, the first question is, why do you think we do not have someone from Rendile, or someone from the Mijikenda tribe, or someone from Samburu take on a big leadership position, e.g. the presidential seat in Kenya? And number two, what can be done, or what can we do as a nation to ensure that we also have, or we include these other tribes into big power, sorry, there's something in my eye, so that we can include these other small tribes or these other marginalized tribes into these big positions of power as well. Tell us on the comment section, most definitely, and we're going to be grateful to you. Also remember, if you have any question that you'd like to ask us in regards to politics or anything you want us to discuss, feel free to hit us on the comment section below. And most definitely at the end of the day tunasema hatutaki ukabila, kwa sababu ukabila hutenganisha jamii as well as nchi, but we are asking for peace and we're asking for unity and for you to live in peace with people from different tribes. And also remember, the comment section, tell us, why are we not giving a chance to people from the marginalized communities to lead the big positions, e.g. the presidential positions, and what can we do to ensure inclusivity into such positions of power? That is it for Ask Siasa. We're going to see you in the next Ask Siasa.
Yes, thank you.
Oh.